Tomodachi Life was the game that was also released in the States this year. That's about all I have to say about it. Tomodachi Life is just... It's not... It's hard to describe. I wouldn't really call it a game, as, like, I saw a review call it. It's kind of more of just, like, this thing you just check on periodically. It's not like Animal Crossing, where you move into a town, you have to pay off stuff, and you play games with villagers and that kind of stuff. It's just a game where you just kind of put people that you find interesting, make me's of, or just whatever, and just kind of watch them interact. You can do some stuff with them, like play some mini games that aren't really that in depth. Feed them, give them clothes and that kind of stuff, but it's kind of mostly just about the me's that you put into the game interacting. As a game that's pretty much based on just the me's, it's a cool idea, but it is something that I do find hard to always come back to. It's kind of a thing as go in waves. When I first played it, I found it kind of boring. I came back to it, got really into it for quite a while because some couples got married, they started having kids, and that was really interesting. And then it kind of died down again. And it kind of just goes in waves, and it really depends. If you just kind of like having something that's nice and relaxing, just kind of, whatever, you see them just do random stuff, you find it interesting, making me's of like real people, seeing if they kind of act like they are in real life. That's really cool. Like, I have some friends I know that have made me's of, like, themselves and other people they know, and they've, like, gotten people they know into actual relationships and that kind of stuff, so it kind of parallels real life, and that's cool. And that's, like, one way you can play the game. You can also make the game just as absurd as possible. Like, in my game, like, my me is based around what I look like, what you've probably seen in the picture right now in this video, not what I actually look like in real life, which I have a me for that, too. They don't get along, which is kind of funny. But then I also have, like, weird me's for, like, Joseph Joestar, Steven Universe, and just kind of all these kind of crazy things. It's just, like, it's an interesting idea in that regard, because you're trying to, like, make characters that are fictional and try to, like, incorporate them into the real world. I mean, like, right now in my game, I actually have Steven Universe is dating Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls. It's just, that's kind of silly. But that's kind of what the game is. And it's really hard to, like, say anything more about it than just that's what it is. You just kind of watch people and they interact, they do stuff. There's not much else to it besides that. And I feel bad for, like, because that seems like a big negative on it, but at the same time, it's a nice, easy, simple to pick up game. You can pretty much pick it up at any point, just look at it, see what's going on. Probably not have to play for more than 5 minutes to get anything accomplished that you want to do, and just kind of go on your merry way. In that regard, it's pretty nice in that respect. There's a lot of stuff you can do very quickly. There's a great amount of Street Pass features it has, as well as a few Spot Pass features as well, that kind of keep the gameplay flowing, and it makes things just interesting in its own regard. I would say if you're looking for something that is kind of more similar to like the Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon games, you should probably just go play those, because this game is definitely not going to be as in-depth as those. But for what it is, and how simple it is, and just how silly you can make things, like having like a real-life couple that like, be best friends with Joseph Joestar. That's kind of the charm of it, and it's kind of what you make of it. It's very much a game that it is what you make of it, and that's kind of its strength and its weakness. If you're not a big fan of that, and you like something to be more structured, something that gives you kind of a upset goal, probably not for you. But if you do enjoy just kind of like doing whatever, just messing around with things, messing around with people, making different people, seeing how they would interact, it's definitely at least worth a try. I think there was at one point a demo of the game. It might still be up on the eShop, so if you had a chance to check that out, I'd probably try the demo first, or at least go by word of mouth. If you have a lot of friends that play the game, I'd suggest it then, because you can have some interesting adventures in that regard. But if it's just something that you're kind of curious about and you're not sure, I would say possibly skip it. Not that it's bad, but it's just something that you have to make of it. You have to make it your own, and if you can't live up to that, you can't make that commitment to kind of make the game tailored specifically to you to find it enjoyable, then you're not going to get much enjoyment out of it. Overall, it's a pretty fun game, but it is something that takes a bit getting used to. It definitely doesn't feel like a game, but it can still be a lot of fun.